Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and it's Saturday, Slashback Saturday. This is the segment created by my good buddy, Joe the Horror Man, where he picks a theme, and we watch a slasher movie based on that theme, and do a short review. And this week, it's Skinful Slashers. And yes, I am the pervert, because I suggested this theme. Now this week, I picked The Living Dead Girl. Now, I know this looks familiar because this was on my top 20 for 2020 vampire films, but it's a little bit harder than that to classify, and I'll explain. The Living Dead Girl is a 1982 film which runs approximately 86 minutes and is directed by the late great Gene Roland. Now, he passed away on December 15th, 2010, at the age of 72. He was responsible for another movie I watched recently, Dracula's Fiancé, and yet another one I watched, Two Orphan Vampires, which I actually really enjoyed. He also directed Fascination, The Grapes of Death, and Requiem for a Vampire, which I also watched. Now this stars Mariana Piero as Helene. She was in Love Rights. She had a short part in Suspiria, and she was also in A Moral Woman. Francine Blanchard as Catherine Valmont. She unfortunately passed away on May 24th, 2013, at the age of 58. She was in Revenge in the House of Usher and Sidewalks of Bangkok, which is also released on Redemption, because that's what this is, Redemption label. It's a Kino sort of label. Now, the synopsis is kind of simple. In the beginning, these two guys are dumping toxic waste in a vault underneath an old farmhouse, because if they dump it in the sea, then they get fined and charged a lot of money. So they start dumping it underneath a vault in an old farmhouse, because, as they put it, it has to go somewhere. Now, Kathleen Valmont had died a year previously, but still looks remarkably good. Not exactly sure how that works out, but, part of being a horror fan is suspending disbelief. So, when they take the toxic waste down there, one of the barrels drops over and spills and gets all over Kathleen Valmont, which brings her back to life. Now, is this a vampire movie? I don't really know the actual definition of a vampire film, but basically what this chick does is she has these daggers of nails, which you see right here, only they're a little bit more pronounced in the actual film itself. She slashes her victims and basically drinks their blood. So after she kills the two people who are dumping toxic waste down in the vault, she goes back up to where is familiar with her, which is the farmhouse. Now, Helene comes in, who is played by Mariana Piero. Helene plays her best friend as a child. They did some kind of a blood pact when they were real little kids. The kind of thing like blood brothers used to do, where they would slice their hands and mix their blood and all that. Well, they did something similar. So that means they were supposed to be best friends until the end. Well, she finds out that she's alive because Kathleen starts becoming more and more human as the story goes along. Sort of. She's still killing, she still has an insatiable thirst for blood, but she can now start to enunciate words and stuff like that. So, what makes this a slasher is she basically, in the beginning, lures people back to the house. Her best friend, her best friend, lures people back to the house in order for Kathleen to feed, to keep her alive. That's as far as I'm going to go with this one. It's a really, really atmospheric and fun movie. Now, as far as the skinful stuff, there is a ton of what I like to call 70s bush in this. Kathleen is naked throughout half the movie, it seems like. Two of the people that they bring back to the house have sex and then are immediately dispatched. It's just a very sleazy vampire movie, which is what Gene Rollin is basically known for. So I really enjoyed this movie. I think the reason why I liked it so much more than a lot of his other movies is because this has a slasher element to it. And like I said before, that's basically having people lured back so she can kill them and feed on their blood. She doesn't have fangs as a traditional vampire, but neither did Martin, and that's considered a vampire movie, so this is a vampire movie to me. She basically kills and feeds on their blood, and that quenches her insatiable thirst. So, but yet definitely watch what Joe picked and what our theme is for next week. And if you like what you see and hear, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, peace.